Haven't done this in so long, I forgot how to do it. What's good? Conspiracy News 29. Thought I was gonna quit, huh? Nope. Alright, so we'll start it off with this.
This ruined building in the southern Gaza Strip used to be Abed al-Qara and Mohammed al-Fajem's school. The 10-year-old friends from Eastern Han Yunis, traumatized from 6 months of war, stare at its destroyed shell. Once a place of learning, the school is now riddled with bullets. Papers are scattered across gutted classrooms. Posters peel off the walls. Damaged books line the floors.
Sad, yo.
It's a grim reminder of their studies and
reality.
time spent with friends. For 5th grader Al-Qara, those days feel like a distant memory.
What is this destruction?
Crazy.
Destruction. We used to study in these schools, and we used to play in the playground. They would
Ain't
bring
no
us
terrorists
toys.
there.
We would go out during recess. We would go to the classroom and walk around. The principal
like,
would come to
subscribe,
the
and all that.
classrooms. He would give us the books.
Comment,
We would go
please.
there and see who is coming and going. We would stand at the school gate. We were living well.
The battered school represents the shattered dreams of many young Gazans
I mean,
and
they
highlights all they have
destroyed
lost
that
since the
country,
conflict
G,
began.
and every day.
Hamas
They
militants
just
from the
attacked in the
enclave
West
attacked
Bank.
Israel on October
They
7th,
have done
killing 1,200 people and
airstrikes
taking
on
over
Rafah the
200
past 2
hostages,
days, killing
according to
over
Israeli
20.
tallies.
Toll
Israel's
is up to
retaliatory air and ground
33,000.
offensive has
So
killed over
1,200 Israeli died
33,000 Palestinians,
for
according to health
33,000
authorities.
Palestinians that died. Go
Much of
figure.
Gaza looks just like
That's
this,
fair.
reduced to rubble and wasteland. That includes
Unbelievable.
many schools, which, with children making up about half of Gaza's 2.3 million population, have a critical place in society. Palestinians across the densely packed enclave face severe shortages of water, food, medicine and healthcare. Many young students who were hungry to learn are now simply hungry.
Crazy.
They wonder if they'll ever be able to pack their books and go back to school again. Sat on the
Unfair, man.
school's rubble, teacher Mohammed al-Qudari reflects on the wide-scale ruin of Gaza's education system.
My man educating in the middle of rubble. God
There is
bless him.
destruction of educational institutions and spaces, resulting in the destruction of educational life. There is destruction of universities. Almost all the Gaza Strip's universities have been destroyed. Almost all schools have been destroyed, along with kindergartens. There is complete destruction of the Gaza Strip and the education sector.
Systematic genocide, you heard?
Gazans of all ages are desperate for signs that the fighting will end, but there are none. Mediators have failed to narrow differences between both
Sad,
sides
man.
enough to secure a ceasefire, despite proposals being passed back and forth. Still, some, like Al-Fajem, have not lost all hope, despite having lost friends in the conflict. He says he was a high achiever in class and hopes to study intense instead.
My man,
This is the
you
school
gonna
that we
get
lived in, he
educated, you
says.
gonna be
It
free,
was
you
the
gonna
best school.
be happy again, and not scared of this war that... Basically, this whole theme of this conspiracy news is that we're not supposed to... We learn history for it to not repeat itself, but constantly we are. War has been around since the inception of, even before America, but more so when America was started. You see it. For some reason, we can't stay out of wars. We can't stop funding wars. But we'll get to that later. The House, U.S. Congress approved more aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. I don't know where Taiwan comes in, but yeah, that's great, right? Look, that was the attack from Iran. But anyway, let's focus. Let's focus. Okay. Hold on. So, freedom of speech is under attack. Protests are part of America's fabric. We've been fighting them since the hippie days. Against the Vietnam War and all these useless wars we don't need to spend money on or focus our energy on. We need to focus on education, helping homeless, less fortunate and doing the right thing in this world. At least these Columbia University students are being strong and standing up to the powers that be. They're getting arrested wrongfully just for speaking their voice. They're camping out mad days in That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let's run it back one more time. Sorry. Okay. So protests at Columbia University over the Israeli-Hamas war are expected to continue for the 5th day straight. More than 100 people have been arrested since the protest. And 100 people were arrested, really, on the campus in Upper Manhattan. The pro-Palestinian demonstrators are calling for a ceasefire in Gaza and also have been critical of Columbia's response to the conflict. Protesters have called on the university to divest from Israel. On Saturday, a large group of protesters gathered outside the university gates while student protesters returned to the main lawn on campus. Friday, video from the overhead showed protesters sprawled in sleeping bags and mats with banners and Palestine flags laid out around them. You go, people. Brave souls. On Saturday, the House passed a $95 billion foreign aid package that includes funds for Israel and humanitarian aid. So we're sending money for humanitarian aid simultaneously while giving money to bomb them. Wow, bro. Wow. Like, I can't. Like, wow. Your freedom of speech is under siege. You cannot go against the system. Follow the money. You know what they say? Follow the money. You want to know where the prime comes from? Follow the money. Follow the paper trail. But I'm proud of them. Matter of fact, I saw some people protesting in the park and all that. So this is where we're at, though. This is where we're at, though. This piece of shit. This piece of crap. This decision. The approval in a rare weekend session ended months of deadlock. House GOP leaders struggle with whether they should block or provide aid amid the ongoing wars in Israel and Ukraine, as well as mounting concerns about China's approach to Taiwan. The decision to debate aid to Ukraine and pass the bill with majority of the yes votes coming from Democrats presents a risk to Speaker Mike Johnson's, this loser, Okay, that's Mike Johnson. Speaker of the House spoke to reports just after lawmakers pushed the $95 billion national security aid. The three bills, as well as a measure to ban popular app TikTok unless Chinese owner ByteDance sells it, now goes to the Senate as one package where leaders hope to vote on the legislation as soon as Tuesday. President Joe Biden, who sent a supplement sending request to Congress, asked for the aid 6 months ago, is expected to sign the bill once it reaches his desk. House lawmakers supported $60 billion in additional assistance for Ukraine on a 311 to 112 vote while cheering and waving small Ukrainian flags on the floor. Disgusting. We're in America. Members voted 360-58 to approve the $26 billion Israel humanitarian assistance bill. We will give them money to bomb while giving money for humanitarian aid. Sickening. The $8 billion funding bill for the Indo-Pacific received backing on the 385 to 34 vote. One lawmaker voted present. The 21st Century Peace Through Strength Act that includes the TikTok bill passed following a 360-58 vote. Three emergency spending bills will provide significant boosts in the funding the U.S. Departments of Defense, Energy, and State, which will use that money to help Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, as well as other allies. Pennsylvania U.S. Representatives Summer Lee and Scott Perry, who are both otherwise diametrically opposed on most issues, both voted against the Israeli aid package. Perry and Republican John Joyce both voted against the Ukraine aid package. Republican Dan Muser voted present on the Ukraine. Far-right Republicans have rallied against the bills and decision by Johnson and Louisiana Republican to hold a floor vote, while their colleagues in both parties said the funding would help protect democracies around the world, aid refugees fleeing war, and bolster America's defense industrial base. GOP lawmakers repeatedly referenced former President Ronald Reagan's peace through strength foreign policy strategy, choosing the party's long-held standard bearing over the isolationism championed by other leaders. House's Appropriations Chairman Tom Cullen, a Oklahoma Republican, said the last few years have produced echoes of dark time in a world history that began nearly a century ago. In the 1930s, evil regimes bent on aggression, domination, and even genocide took their first steps down a dark road that would eventually lead to a world war, Cole said. Tragically, the democratic West turned inward, then standing allied, while facet regimes began to take aggressions against their weaker neighbors. There were times then to put down stop to aggression, Cole added, if we only had the fortitude and the overwhelm to stand firmly on the side of freedom. Actions today by China with respect to Taiwan, Iran's aggression towards Israel, and Russia's invasion. This is all bullshit, by the way. Invasion of Ukraine stand as a modern threat to democracy. That's not true. Nearly $48 billion of the $60 billion total for the Ukraine bill would go to the U.S. defense military to provide weapons and supplies for Ukraine's military to replenish stockpiles of weapons and other equipment sent to Ukraine and to bolster U.S. Armed Forces European Command's operations. The $26 billion Israel aid bill would directly... Money's not real, by the way. That's another thing of it. Would direct $13 billion of that to the U.S. Defense Department to provide that country with funding for the Iron Dome. An additional $9.5 billion will go to the U.S. State Department for humanitarian assistance in Gaza, other vulnerable populations, an additional $3.6 billion for security assistance to Israel. Disgusting. It's in a Republican, Debbie Wasserman, said it's incomprehensible that the Israeli hostages captured at Simchat Torah are still in Hamas captivity as we approach Passover. She said, I rise to finally provide long overdue aid to our ally Israel to fight to defend herself against threats on the multiple fronts. Like, you guys are not in tune with the world, or you just don't care. This is what Israel is saying that was oh wow, Iran attacked Israel, fireworks. But this is what Israeli did to the Iranian embassy in Syria, killing mad people. They're just out of control, bro. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. They get, you know, if they get a little pushback, they do a lot of damage afterwards. On April 1st, an Israeli airstrike destroyed the Iranian consulate annex building adjacent to the Iranian embassy in Damascus, Syria, killing 16 people. A senior Quds Force commander of Islamic Revolutionary Guard groups it was Iran stuff, but yeah, as usual, unfair balance, just like the economy, our freedom of speech, rights, and wars that are not needed. History is repeating itself. We need to focus on getting out of this situation before the world goes into war, which we're already at. But it is what it is. Conspiracy News 29, we out. Peace. Thank you for tuning in. Got more to come.